Hello everyone!
Okay.
Forsaken is an asymmetrical horror game that has a total of 12 playable survivors. A lot of discussion has been made on who's the better character, going over everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and I believe it's a fun thing to talk about. However, there's one hilarious thing I realized is that during the entire game's lifespan, there has been a single survivor who hasn't changed much, but their position on the tier list and ranking was on the bottom this entire time. Today I'm gonna be talking about Forsaken's most worthless survivor, 007 and 7. And 7 is a survivalist, meaning his job in the team is being able to survive solo without the help of a team. In particular, he is a trickster. His kit revolves around fooling the killer and avoiding direct chases by being stealthy. He doesn't have anything fancy like special stats. His only passive is called Dex, which only gives you information for your active abilities. Speaking of them, let's dive into his kit. His first ability is called Clone, and 7 spawns a clone while giving you invisibility 4 and undetectable for 5 seconds. This ability is supposed to be used to trick the killer, misleading them into chasing your clone. The clone lasts for 10 seconds and it has a special property of having hit priority over other survivors, if the clone's HP is more or equal to the survivor that is being shielded. It is important to mention that clones mimic 007 and 7's HP. This is done to make clones limp when you're below 50 HP. The second ability is Cool GUI. This ability teleports you across the map with a lengthy 5.5 second windup. During the windup, you cannot sprint and your movement speed is heavily reduced. The place where you teleport is determined by the Dex passive. There isn't much to say about this ability, its main use is escaping after you've tricked the killer with your clone. The last ability is called Inject. Inject is an ability that only influences N7's clones. Inject has 3 modes: Pathfind, Aimless, and Cursor. You switch them by pressing the ability and that changes the clone's behavior. Pathfind clones search for a path towards the furthest survivor or killer spawn determined by the Dex passive. Aimless go in the direction you've sent them in for 3 seconds before randomly picking another direction for another 3 seconds. Cursor clones pathfind towards your cursor location or use the same direction as you if you are using shift lock. Important to note that cursor mode cuts clone's lifespan in half. Okay, let's start. Survivors in Forsaken usually only have 2 factors that determine how good they are: the survivor's capabilities of helping the team and themselves. Surprise, surprise, but a survivalist sacrifices being able to aid your comrades in return for long chases. So let's start off with N7's ability to help himself. It's close to none. Clones are difficult to use correctly simply because clones fail to mimic movement of an actual player. They move too linearly, they sometimes jerk in unpredictable manners, so it's easy to tell when a clone is used. Even if you are fooled by a clone, there's another thing that spoils N7's stealth: killer's stamina drain. When Forsaken was first released, the killer's stamina behaved like survivors. It drained when you ran, and it regenerated when you walk, regardless of anything. After a while, it was changed because stuff like last man standing were too difficult for killers to win. Now, killers only drained stamina if a survivor was within 125 studs near the killer. But that was also changed relatively recently, shortening the distance from 125 studs down to 85 studs. Even if, and that's a really big if, you're fooled by a clone, you can find that out really quickly and then use one of your detection abilities to find where N7 is. More times than not, you can either get another easy chase against a survivor that now has literally nothing to save himself, or cancel Cool GUI. So if you aren't playing as your cool kid or Noli, more often than not you can just use your detection ability to immediately pinpoint where N7 is. And if you see him using Cool GUI, you just start running to the other side of the map. Killer and survivor spawns are usually terrible chase starters, meaning you can get easy chases even if you get fooled. Cool GUI also has an insanely long wind-up, so you have to guess when to teleport. With reduced stamina detection range, it's easy to find N7 and just kill him right after. Genuinely, it has gotten to a point where I haven't even seen good N7 players for so long, I forgot how to combat them. That's how niche this survivor is. I really hope there are gonna be 007 and 7 mains in the comments that are gonna defend their character, because the longer I look into N7's gameplay, the more disappointed I get. One of the main arguments that people make when defending N7 is his ability to body block with clone. For example, you can tank both hits of Void Rush, Walk Speed Override, Demonic Pursuit, Dive, Azur's Tentacles, Gashing Wound, Blood Hook, tank for people getting hit by Entanglement and Strangle, and even John Doe's Digital Footprint. In short, everything that has a grab or deals heavy damage on a single survivor can be body blocked by a clone. You can even tank M1s, and if you're low enough on HP, hitting your clone will trigger a kill animation, stunning the killer. Bonus points if you get that on a skin with a long kill animation stalling an insane amount of time. That is, if the killer is stupid enough. Here's the thing though. The clones are ping dependent, meaning any maneuver you make with your cursor will be done with a delay by the clone. This makes it really tricky to get any value in, and sprinkled in the fact that clone only lasts for 5 seconds. Brother, please! Oh my gosh, it's so annoying, it's so useless! And you get a survivor that can barely help with anything. I do think that tanking abilities with clones is a viable strategy, especially against Nosferatu and Azure, as they have long range grab moves, but other than that there isn't much you can do against other killers. Noli, for example, can run a bit back before re-rushing, and now your clone just adds additional damage for whoever gets hit by the Void Slam. Cool Kid, while still getting a bit of a stun after landing Walk Speed Override, still gets distance on you because up close this thing is unreactable. Nosferatu can dismount instead of diving, and Sixer is the only one that gets screwed over. Stepping on digital footprints takes some team coordination because speed 1 for 10 seconds is gonna be a problem for your team to figure out. I remember there was a gig where 007 and 7 players would make a clone walk just behind them to tank any incoming damage. First of all, you're not getting any stamina advantage from that, and you're still in a terrible spot and just stalling. Second of all, abilities can still hit you through the clone, so it's just as pointless as Noob's Slate Skin Potion and Chase. Even if you somehow manage to get used to the ping clones have, Sixer, Slasher, and Azure's Golem have piercing attacks which ignore the clone's hit priority. So, while N7 counters Azure and Cool Kid, plenty of other characters counter N7 back and have ways of recovering from being fooled. Most of the time, however, if you have a keen eye, you will not lose him or find him again quickly. As for teamwork, it requires such an enormous amount of practice, game knowledge, reaction time, and or prediction that it doesn't make sense why would you pick this character in particular over literally anyone else. 007 and 7 is a high risk, low reward most of the time, and is mostly just an LMS merchant. You have to let another person on LMS because 007 and 7 is a beast when you know the killer is on the other side of the map. Outside of that, he's trash. He has a really awesome matchup against Azure because Undetectable allows you to bypass traps, but against the other killers, N7 just sucks. No teamwork, unreliable solo play, yet a demon when left alone. I suppose it fits his personality. In the recent updates, the dev team started drifting towards balancing the game equally instead of forsaking being survivor-sided. They nerfed Guest, Elliot, Two Time, and most importantly, looping. Most changes were made on glaring issues surrounding the game. The three I mentioned before had insane potential to be useful for the team, so they were toned down. But I think it's unfair that we let the underdogs sit in the shadows. I believe 007 and 7 is a survivor that's fun to play, it's just that his opportunities arrive once in a blue moon. His problems can be fixed with a rework, so let's go what I think will solve N7's problem. Firstly, his clone ability needs heavy buffs, specifically the clone's intellect. In Swapsaken, the kid has a cool GUI that works differently from 007 and 7 and will work brilliantly with it. The kid can place 2 pizza delivery minions that he can teleport to. Being able to choose where you can teleport can put you in good check/loop spots, or to trick the killer by making them guess where they are or force an aura read ability. The X passive could probably be ditched in favor of these things, though they should probably change minions to something else. Pathfind clones could work the same way, pathfinding towards either the nearest or the farthest teleport spot. Cool GUI startup should remain the same, as now teleporting to any point on the map should require a big risk to pull off. Would this make N7 more difficult to play? Yes, but at the same time the mind games available to N7 become insanely more complex. To make them more believable, they will also manage stamina. They will take whatever stamina N7 has left currently and copy it, similar to Nolly's hallucinations. That's not the only thing I'm changing, I also want to change the other two modes of clone. Aimless should now attempt to juke the killer when they're getting up close. Just make them turn around more often when the killer is closer, and that's it. Lastly, cursor mode. The only glaring issue I see with clone is this strategy I explained just a while ago. An easy fix to this is bring back the old penalty of giving 007 and 7 weakness and removing invisibility if he touches his clone. So with that out of the way, cursor mode clones should get 10-second lifespan back, but there's gonna be another mechanic implemented to it. Currently, shift locking while sending out a clone will make the clone face the same direction as you. Realistically, this is never used because you can only turn about 60 degrees without the clone going out of sight. I'll change it to mimic the player's movement. This would make body blocking with clones so much easier for all players. I am a PC player and gladly I can imagine how difficult it is to aim for console players because I have a controller. It sucks. So the new system will be helpful for working as a team, even as a survivalist. I could see the argument that cursor mode is more reliable at tricking the killer than the other ones because you can control it, but I haven't even seen any N7 player use cursor mode that way, and I have 37 days on the game, so that should tell you something. These are all of the changes N7 needs. It'll help him be more of a mind game guy while still being helpful to the team. While editing this video, I realized I didn't put a section where I talk about pretending to be a clone. I pulled it off once or twice off camera and it's really difficult to find a use case for this strategy because the killer must be dumb enough to fall for it, but not enough that they actually think you're the real one. It has the same problems of killers quickly finding things out, so I don't think this strategy is as big as people make it out to be. Alright, after 4 pages of my script and many days of lazily editing this video, I am finally done with it. It took me a damn while to gather what I want to say on 007 and 7 because the character was so boring. Playing this character was really getting on my nerves because of the lack of being able to aid your team. N7 it was a topic I want to discuss for many months now, and I'm glad I managed to make a video on it like this one. Sorry for my very large absence after the Azure video, it's all cause of N7, bro. I swear this character was so boring to make a video on. Nevertheless, thank you for watching this video. Before you go, Newbie has an important announcement to you.